Hey, good evening, everybody. Happy Friday evening. Lots of pre-show activity going on in the chat. Very cool to see. Welcome aboard, everyone. Looks like everybody's fired up. What's up, Mike? Rock Rangers, we live a life of danger. What's up, Eric? How you doing? Welcome to the show. Oh, that's interesting. McDonald's digital watch. Wow. Hey, what's up, CJ? Okay. Hurry back. How you doing, Jim? Sales are picking up. Good to hear. Very cool. Not to know too early what years are from. All right, we're negotiating McDonald's watches here. What's up, Dawn? How you doing? Welcome aboard as always. Thank you. Again, we got deals. Wheeling and dealing here, McDonald's style. Queena. Yeah, that's true. Everybody just saying hi, basically. Just subscribed. Oh, yeah, definitely. Everybody go check them out. Yeah, feel free if you guys have channels. Eric is listing 80s, 90s video game ads. Very interesting. That's good stuff. If I come across any new magazines, in quotes, of that time, I'd be happy to do a show with those. But right again, all mine are usually like the newest to 70s, pretty much. Which I'm sure most of you guys know who watch the show. But again, welcome in, everyone. Hope you're doing well. If you have a second, you want to give a thumbs up, get that sale in for a Friday night. I'd appreciate. Hey, what's going on, man? Welcome, Cameron. Great to have you. Hope you're doing well. Cameron is doing this Vlogmas thing, which he explained last week on the show, and I looked and I saw a lot of YouTubers are doing the same thing, so hope that's going well. Good luck with it. Turning paper into paper. Turning paper into cash. Hey, Lisa, good evening to you. Welcome to the show. Good to have you. Mate. My good friend of mine growing up, well, not growing up, in my 20s, used to say it all the time, Mate. Dawn. Hey, Karen. Welcome, Karen. Welcome to the show. Thanks for coming in. Hi, Barry. Welcome aboard. I want to make sure I get as many chats as we can get in here. New Ace Frehley song. I have not heard the new Ace Frehley song. Anybody disappointed in the KISS community, the KISS Army, that they didn't show up for that last gig last week and at the Garden? Also, a very odd announcement they made post-show about the KISS avatars or something. We ain't going nowhere. Strange. Old KISS fan. Pretty good, man. I'm listing up a storm. They're consistent every day. You know, that's what else can you ask for? I wish they were a higher number every day, but I haven't like fallen off a cliff, knock on wood, any days in several weeks, like at all. I haven't had a really down day. Nothing extraordinary either, but then again, I don't have extraordinarily priced items, so I really can't expect that too often, right? The hottest stuff, or the most expensive stuff I have from that private pick, that I told everybody about, which was in September, I believe. Like I have a Vikings helmet, a real NFL helmet for like $200. I have a leather jacket for like $200. I have a Vikings suede NFL jacket for like $200. So those are my highest ticket items, pretty much. So I can't really expect, unless I sell, 100 print ads a day, to make a fortune money-wise on a daily basis. But the sales are coming in consistently, and that's all I could ask for. Very happy, and thanks for the question. I appreciate it. You were talking in the lobby. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, new Ace. I was not aware that Ace had released a single. Hey, Mark, what's going on, man? Welcome aboard. SM Postcards. Check him out on YouTube. You'd be a fool not to. 10,000 volts is the name of the tune. Shock me. That's pretty funny. What's up, Poppy? Poppy Picky Picker. Papa. Okay, we'll stick with Papa. Thank you in advance. I appreciate it. I probably would have had to default to Poppy if that's okay. But thanks for giving me permission. I appreciate it. And thanks for coming in. We're going to eventually list some ads. I don't have a ton tonight because we'll get to the story why shortly. But I just want to say hi and hang out for a little bit and kind of rest. I've been running ragged. You have thousands from 1900 to 2023. Oh, I totally hear that, Eric. Absolutely. It's fun to change it up like we're going to do tonight. I've been in World War II land for a while. I was in World War I land for like weeks and weeks and weeks. And you're right. It's fun just to see some different things. I agree wholeheartedly. Your like has been in no sale. I'm sorry to hear that. What's awkward, Dawn? You quit vlogs after 3 to 4. Oh, did you really? No big bang for your buck there, huh? Sorry to hear that. Dawn, I did a Sal postcards in your coffee store. Oh, very cool. By the way, just want to say thank you. An anonymous donor. If you look at the description portion of my shows and my videos, you know, they have that link, buy me a coffee. It's really appreciated. I put it in there because, first of all, I genuinely love coffee. But it reminded me because of Mark's thing with the KOFI. I think it's pronounced coffee or Ko-Fi, whatever it's pronounced. But anyway, somebody bought me 5 coffees last week. It was an anonymous person, but if you're watching the chat, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Greatly, greatly appreciated. Very kind gesture, and said that they love the show. I don't know who it was. I have no idea. It just said anonymous. All right. Kiss. Kiss used to, well, 70s Kiss, man. I used to love them. But they don't stop with the money. It's true. Kiss 70s. There you go, Jim. Exactly. Give me a live. You know what I mean? What else do you need? We've discussed this. I'm out at Dynasty. I'm done. 79 is Dynasty. A couple of actually decent songs. X-Ray Eyes is a great song on Dynasty. I like 2000 Man, the cover. But you got Sure Know Something is a disco song. A Charisma I like too, if you guys know those songs. But Dynasty that's as far as I go. So that's 79. So show me, you know, first album through Dynasty, and I'm all in. But I agree at this point it's kind of silly. Paul Stanley is just embarrassing, unfortunately, vocally. But there's no shame in that, man. He's over 70 at this point. You know, he's been doing it a very long time at a very high level, and it's okay. These things happen. What's up, Enzo? How you doing? Yeah, let's see. I know, I saw that. But we got their coach as a manager. What do you think of that, Enzo? Let's discuss. An unproven commodity. Young guy, too. Bench coach goes to the New York Mets managerial position. I guess it can't hurt to try something new, right? What am I streaming my next show? The Beatles show. Good question. We are on a torrid pace beginning in January. Right out of January 2nd, the day after New Year, we're playing 5 shows in 6 days in 6 cities. A lot of traveling coming up. So with that said, it's funny, just an hour or two, about 5 o'clock, 2 hours ago, I had my, we have a van that I travel in, take all the stuff in, got it winterized by our local mechanic, great guy, Ron at Nelson's Auto, if anybody's out there watching, but fantastic. He, you know, basic stuff, just make sure that the tread is good on the tires, got the oil changed. We topped off any fluids like transmission fluids. We made sure the tread was good on the tires. We got new wiper blades. It's winterized and ready to rock. We're going to be playing in Nashville early in January, which I'm really excited about. Playing out in Pittsburgh. So we'll see. The streaming thing was fun. I did that outside in the summertime. Maybe we'll try to do an indoor show too if anybody's interested. That was a lot of fun though. Hey Maria, how you doing? Welcome to the show. Good to have you. Yeah, the coffee thing was really nice and greatly, greatly appreciated. I couldn't believe it. It was very sweet. Hey, See the Lights, how are you? Good to see you. Welcome aboard. And Keith is here. Good evening to you, sir. How are you? How's the records going? Selling records? Is any of my music on YouTube? Not on the Jiminy Flip It channel. We have a YouTube channel, but it's never been cultivated in any way. During the pandemic time, I was producing videos and audio. When we weren't doing shows, we would just basically piece together audio. I would play my parts. The drummer would play his parts, send them to me. I'd put them all together electronically. And then I'd make videos and stuff. So like we have the channel had a bunch of those. Every week or two, we would do a video. But there's some shows out there. You can't avoid it anymore. It's funny. Some of the fan videos are the best things. And some of them are just like embarrassing because the camera's wiggling around and you just hear people in the crowd. But it's a lot of fun. Yeah, maybe I'll stream some of these upcoming shows. It's going to be beautiful. They're all indoor, obviously, given the time frame. January, going to be inside. Nashville, I'm pumped for, though. That one I'm really pumped. Believe it or not, with all the traveling I've done, I've never been to Nashville. Been to Memphis, never been to Nashville. I was walking in Memphis. Beatlemania again, Eric. Beatlemania again. So we will be hitting the road in January. So what a great way to start the year off with the explosive string of gigs. 5 and 6 days is pretty cool. A lot of driving for me. I'll tell you that, though. A lot of driving. But it's what I love to do. And Mrs. Flippett is gung-ho for me to do it. So it's a beautiful thing. Okay. I was going to try to put up something, a quick banner, but let me see if I could do that. I used, just this last weekend, I used StreamYard, which is the program that I use to televise the show, if you will, for a meeting amongst the band. So I had changed all the banners because, like, you see how there's a Jiminy Flippett live thing. I have one for Beatlemania that I made long before I did the Jiminy Flippett thing. We used to do shows on the Beatlemania channel too. And I had forgotten because I had a bunch of banners and photos and images that I would pull up for the Beatles shows. And because I was in that environment, when I went to log into my show tonight, I'm like, oh man, I have all the Beatles stuff up there. So I tried to pull it down quickly without screwing it up. Your father's an Elvis tribute. Very cool. Elvis's Lost Brother. Is that the name? We've played double bills with Elvis guys. We did a Beatles and Stones thing, which was a lot of fun at a Renaissance fair in Pennsylvania, like maybe 22 or 3 years ago. That was a lot of fun, though. Beatles and Stones together on the same stage. And it was the Ren Fair. For anybody, I don't know, you guys have Ren Fairs around the country? I don't really know what the locale is for those things, but it was somewhere in like central Pennsylvania we played. It was really beautiful, like an old wooden stage. A lot of fun. But that's great about your dad doing the Elvis thing. It's still very popular too. There's some good, really quality acts, out there. And there's some not so good acts. But hey, let's not harp on that, right? Let me see. I want to see if I can pull this up. If we ever need an Elvis act. Yeah, we have agencies that book us. So it's really up to them. If we're double billed. It doesn't happen very often. It happens more in like summertime festivals. Sometimes there's like music festivals that go on for 12 hours and we're part of it. We like open or close them usually. Like the last one we did was at the end of October. It's so funny. They call it Sunfest. It's supposed to be a summer festival, but it was on like October 25th or something on the water somewhere in Delaware, southern Delaware. It wound up pouring, but the place was mobbed, which was shocking. At the end of October, you would think nobody would be at the beach. That's the kind of event. That's like an all weekend event. That's the kind of thing, Eric, where we might like play with, at least on stage with other bands. It's like a scheduled thing. Oy vey. So how's everybody doing? I'm glad to hear a couple people getting good sales. That's wonderful to hear. No, definitely, man. There are no topics. This is a free-for-all here. Let me get rid of this banner. Everybody's welcomed. Merry Christmas almost. It's coming up. I have no spirit this year. I don't know how to say it. My wife is in the same boat. We don't even have our tree up yet. Last year, we had our tree up probably in the middle of November, and I'm not even joking. It didn't come down until March. I think my mother-in-law, losing her mom at 100, and it's kind of trickling down. There's like a little bit of depressive states going on. My mother-in-law she's like an interior decorator. She has been for years. And she usually decorates up a storm. She hasn't really done much this year. I think it's just, mourning still. It's been a couple of months, but we're still sort of mourning. It's taken a little luster out of the whole Christmas thing for us this year, but hopefully we'll get this was an attempt to get some spirit going. To be honest with you, I'm so excited about January and hitting the road that let's go. I don't care about Christmas. Let's go to January, but we'll see. We'll see how things work out. Maybe things will cheer up. We got my 2 youngest girls are coming over tomorrow evening to help trim the tree. So maybe that'll get us a little festive. I am still, believe it or not, trying to pull this picture in to show you guys. So just bear with me 1 second because I haven't used this function in a while on StreamYard. I don't want to screw anything up or put up the wrong shot from the Beatle thing. Bear with me 1 second. Talk amongst yourself. You guys were good at that before I hit the live button. Just kidding. I want to see if it's a banner or I'm trying to remember what the terminology is to show you guys this. Like if I was to go like this, nope, it doesn't show up. So I have to do overlay. That's the word, overlay. All right, let's get an overlay. Do 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 do. All right, here's an overlay. This is the thing we just put out for the Beatle Band. Say the Winter Tour 24. Now we're adding dates constantly, but that's really a killer way to start off a year. These are all shows that came in within the last couple of weeks. So if you are in any of those towns, come out and see the band. Love to meet you. Love to say hi. Get your tickets. Mark sent Santa a postcard and an elf called me and said it's delivered, but it's not. He's going to open an item not received. Hello there. How you doing, man? Welcome to the show. Good to have you. Hello there. That is funny. That is funny. Just North Pole. Postcard, Santa. Where is Mount Vernon, Eric? Give me some, is it northeast, southeast? We'll be in Pittsburgh. Is that too far from you? Because Pittsburgh is a stone's throw from eastern Ohio. I'm not familiar with that town. Just address to the big guy. There you go. There he is. What's going on, man? Hello there. I like the hello there thing. An hour north of Columbus. Yeah, so that's kind of down, right? It's so funny. We've been in Columbus a bunch of times. I'll let you know. We're going to be in, again, it's not close to you. Cleveland, we're going to be in this year for sure. We're going to be in St. Louis, which is probably too far south, but we're going to be in the Midwest a lot this year. There's a concentration they use to book us is sort of they're strategically hitting that. Like Pittsburgh is sort of the hub, and then we're going places west of there within driving distance, like reasonable, like Nashville is like 9 hours or something from there. So we'll be like in that area. It's not really the Midwest necessarily, Indiana, Ohio. I guess it's the eastern fringes of the Midwest, right? You bought a 76 Boys Life magazine. Interesting. I wouldn't be surprised, Barry. My credo is every ad will sell, and I'll take ads from any source. I really don't care as long as they're wholesome ads, obviously. But I'm sure there's people that collect that stuff. There's people that collect everything. That's pretty good. 2 hours 45 is what? Pittsburgh? See, to me, that's not that big of a deal because we're driving. It's about 5 hours to Pittsburgh for me, 4.5 to 5. And then we're going out to Pittsburgh we're playing in Philadelphia the first night. Then we have a day off. Then starts the 4 in a row. Out to Pittsburgh, back towards like Lancaster County. Lidditz is the name of the town. Then a town called Red Lion, which is in that same vicinity, kind of near Harrisburg, sort of. And then down to Nashville. Yeah, cool. And I'll let you guys know as the season progresses, but it's a great thing because January is traditionally kind of quiet. So to be, again, it was the emphasis this agency, really wanted to hit that marketplace, and they got us a bunch of shows all in succession, which is great. St. Louis is a few hours. There you go. Probably see. I don't know the venue yet, Keith, but I'll let you know. I'll make posts for anybody who's interested in seeing the bands. eBay has come out with a new trading card envelope kit. I saw the envelope itself, right? An eBay branded product, Mark. Is that what you're talking about? I thought I saw something about that. Hey. Ho ho Canada. There you go. But for every seat listed. If you're referring to the scout ads, absolutely. What's up, Jeff? How you doing? List them all. I've been in a listing frenzy. I got back into listing some more postcards. My goal has been aggressive for a while, trying to get 100 listings every day. I got back on that horse this week. And I'll tell you what, the postcards are a great way to get. I have tons of Christmas postcards, thousands of them. So I've been listing Christmas postcards like a fool all this week. So the 100 seriously takes like an hour to maybe 2 hours to get the 100 up. It's very simple. And then I'm exceeding that 100 number, but I think it's a good thing. Consistency is something that eBay seems to like. Consistency listing on a daily basis. It doesn't have to be that kind of volume. It could be 10 a day. As long as you're consistent and do a decent quantity every day, I'm pretty sure eBay will reward you with traffic. My biggest thing is, and again, knock on wood, but I don't ever want to take a day off, unless God forbid I can't list for some reason, don't take an OFA when it comes to listing. I think that has a very negative impact on things. Just try to list something every single day. And Barry's about a half hour south of Columbus. Okay, cool. Yeah, guys, so there's a bunch of Ohio people. That's good to know. I'll let you know. I know we're playing in Cleveland at some point during this calendar, during next year, 24. I don't know the venue yet. But I know we're going to be in St. Louis also. And hopefully a whole bunch of other places. It's a very aggressive start to the season to have those 5 shows in the first week of January is outrageously cool. And I am pumped. That's why I'm like, Christmas, schmish. Let's go. Let's get to New Year. Let's pop the champagne and say Happy New Year. Johnny Karate, what's up? What is the typical value of print advertisements for the World War II Life magazine, 1942? Your 80s and 90s ads, you're testing the waters with older stuff. You could just look for comps, Johnny Karate. I have my own pricing scheme. I really don't, with exception. I'll look up certain ones that I think might be really special. But if you want to you look back at some of the shows I've done, or you could just look at the listings. I'm usually like, for a basic, just everyday 1-page ad, like $15 or $16 is my base price usually, and the World War II stuff for sure. And then depending on the content, depending on the scarcity of the brand, let's say, depending on the depiction, the scene that's depicted in the ad, we'll go up from there. If it's a double page ad, if it's a centerfold ad, we'll go up. But that's, just generally speaking, like 15 or so is my base pricing. But feel free to just check comps. You can go to eBay and look at solds. Type vintage print ad, type World War II era ad or World War II ad or something to that effect. And get you, get your feelers out and see what kind of numbers you can come back with. What's up, Hydrant? How you doing? Welcome to the show. There's 3-section number 10 envelope and number 10 envelope and a stiffener. Hey, they say it will hold 24 trading costs. Oh, very cool. It's good to see that they're expanding their repertoire. And Mark will have a video coming to you on the SM Postcards YouTube channel. Got no notification from YouTube. Oh, really? For tonight? That's crazy. I put up when did I put it up? This morning? I think I put up the little thumbnail and all that stuff. Sorry to hear that. And you definitely have the notification bell icon thing activated, Hydran? I'm sure you do because you're usually here. But most Mondays and Fridays around this time, around 7 p.m. Eastern, you'll see me. And Hydran found 12 from 39 to 47. That's a majestic period of time for the ads. 3 look magazines. Very, very cool. All for free. They in decent shape, Hydran? Are they mold ridden? Are they ripped? Are they water damaged? Or are they all really good shape? Notifications bell is on. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Don't know why. I have myself on other channels. I have other YouTube channels like the Beetle channel. So like I subscribe to myself, obviously, so I can see. It's a good way for me to test to see if, if it says I'm going to go live. I get like the 30-minute thing. Jiminy Flip It is going to go live in 30 minutes and it's me. So I'm definitely getting the notifications, but maybe it's a YouTube snafu. Jeff with the quick suggestion. What's this? Unsubscribe, then subscribe. Oh, really? Is that the workaround there, Jeff? They are used, but pretty decent for, you can say fantastic and free. I mean, I'm sure you'll find a bunch of really good material. So that's wonderful. From your honey hole, huh? Your secret honey hole. It's good to have a honey hole. Very, very good. Actually, you just made me think of something with YouTube. Let me make sure of something. I think if I switch accounts and then I go to, yeah, see, I have the notification came on for me 55 minutes ago. It said I was going to go live in 30 minutes. And then 25 minutes ago, it said I went live. So, all right, it's working for me. Just want to make sure it's not a bigger problem. Is everybody getting notified typically? For those who have come in and watched the show regularly, are you guys always notified? Thanks for pointing it out. I wish there was something I could do to help with that. Like eBay, you have a customer support thing. I'm sure YouTube has something like that. But if enough people were having a problem, I would definitely contact them and say, hey, I'm having trouble with people getting their notifications. What's going on? My spam. See, Mark got it. Karen got it. Okay. Eric has a question. What ad, a brand, or subject that you draw the line on with listing at eBay, no matter what the price? We kind of touched on this the last show. The new, not new, but the last couple of years, this push to get away from anything that might be considered offensive to anyone, any group or whatever. So like I'll we talked about the Aunt Jemima stuff. I had tons of Aunt Jemima ads up. I took them all down. Things like that. I think that's the most blatant. When it comes to ads in general, advertisements in general, as long as it's a savory topic, I'm on board. I really haven't come across anything. Thank God. You're not going to find something in light. The magazines I'm dealing with are very mainstream magazines from, the last century plus. I haven't gotten any kind of crazy magazine. I can't think of, I'm trying to think of an example. If you have any examples of something that you're questioning whether we should list it or not, I'd be happy to entertain that. But I'm trying to think like what kind of an ad, like a Playboy or something. Are you saying? Like I wouldn't, put sex toys up. I wouldn't do that. But again, anything that's, run of the mill, wholesome in quotes, I'm up for. Just definitely stay away from that kind of stuff that eBay's been putting the kibosh on. The Aunt Jemima stuff. Uncle Ben's, I think, was in that thing now. That's about it. And Dawn usually gets the notification. Thank you. CJ says it never works. What's that? The notification? And welcome back, CJ. You love spam. Spam the product that we've talked about many times on the show. Got it. Jim got it. Also picked up an absolute boatload of sheet music. Love me some sheet music, Hydran. Hymnals and choir books, and same among the multiples that go for 2025. Cha-ching is right. Also free. Free. I sold some sheet music this week. I have some pieces. I don't know how many I have left. Let me check out how many sheet musics I have left. Over 100, I'm pretty sure. 100 listings. Sheet music falls into the dreaded, long tail category like so much of the ephemera does, but it's a pleasure because if you get it for free, you can't top that. But my sheet music, same thing. I'm like under $0.25 per piece. So I don't really care if I have 100 listings sitting there and every once in a while, ching, $20 for my quarter investment. I don't really care about that. I wouldn't build a whole store around it. But I think it's good to have things like that. It's really a volume game. Long tail, the only way to succeed is have lots of volume. Right, Mark? Mark will tell you. How many sheet music pieces do I have up? 101. I nailed it. 101 pieces of sheet music. And, I can't really tell anymore how old something is. I know a lot of people have been using the SKU label to put in, I think it's a good idea. You put in your listing date in there, whether you code it some way that nobody could really understand what that means, or you just write the date, is up to you. But that's a good way to keep tabs, because with this end and relist thing that so many of us are doing with frequency, you kind of lose your trail. Like my oldest item now is from like November 10th or something. Oh, no, November 5th. So even though I might have had stuff literally listed for years at this point, and I definitely do, it doesn't have my original listing date. I would love it if you could pull down some kind of report from eBay or ask them. They could probably determine when the original listing date was. But right now, all my start dates are, 30 to 40 days is what I've been keeping them in. How's everybody doing with that? You guys all still subscribe to that notion that we need to end and sell similar constantly on these things? I still do it. I don't get panicked anymore. Like if I skip, like there was a period a few months ago where like if I went to 40 days, I'm like, oh my God, I forgot to end all my items. No wonder I'm not selling anything, and again, it's such a quick little spurt of activity. You definitely get a bump, but it's so short-lived. I guess it's better than no bump. And I guess it's a good idea in general to have your items not be stagnant. That's for sure. But I don't know. I don't know that it's this cure-all that we all kind of hoped it would be. Lisa got one today. I'm sorry, Lisa. What are you talking about? You got a notification? Are we talking notifications? Found a couple 20 Mapes. 20s Mapes. Maps? Do you mean maps? Man. Let's circle back on that one. You like listing sheet music? Yeah, it's similar to ads, isn't it, Dawn? I agree totally. Way before the bad guy took it. Right. And that's actually I'm pretty sure if you read, there's a chapter or a chapter, but there's like a note about that in theory, I don't remember what the date is, 32, 33, something like that. If you have a swastika pre 32 or 33, which is when Hitler came into power, that's actually okay. I don't know. I still probably wouldn't write swastika in the title. That's for sure. I would not put the title. I wouldn't put something like that or Hitler in the title. Like I have some Hitler ads. They're not Hitler ads. I have Hitler depictions. They're comic. They're like goofy things, which you'll see all the time during World War II, right? Propaganda kind of stuff. And we're going to go get the bad guys. And there's a caricature of Hitler in there. And again, as long as you don't see the swastika and as long as you don't say Hitler, you can. I've sold lots of that stuff. But again, it's much more, it's nothing to do really with Hitler. He's just kind of there, or Hirohito is there from Japan. And it's usually some kind of goofy comic version of one of the two, or Mussolini from Italy. You know, they're all like cowering in the corner, and there's like a big, US fighter jet smashing them with bombs or something like that. But I'm very, very careful with that too, because it still is Hitler, and Hitler is, very taboo on these things. Lisa, question. You always wonder about ads that show black railroad stewards' wages. Enter Dawn Wright. I'm sure Dawn will have something to say with this. Yeah, and I just don't know. I've never had anything taken down for that. I don't even know what to say. I don't know what to say. There was something about that. Dawn actually read the Riot Act to me about that one time. You'll see it all the time with the train ads, actually. There'll be a black steward or whatever in the corner or something, and I don't know. I don't know if there's anything come down from eBay specifically not to list those kind of ads. I mean, I don't know, but it's a good question. I think when in doubt, especially because given the variety of advertisements that are out there to list, it's probably safe to just err on the side of caution and not get involved with that kind of stuff, if at all possible. Whether it's official from eBay that you can't list that or not, it's probably over time, all this stuff will be taken down eventually. So get ahead of it and let's just Sanka coffee ads, or things that are pretty much immune from any of that kind of stuff. List it and they will buy. There you go, Mark. It's amazing how some people will consider trash. Those are considered worth $10. Yeah. Well, I laugh at, I'm still amazed at some of the stuff that sells, in the ad world and in the postcard world, which I'm heavily vested in as well. But, you think about sometimes like, I sold an ad for like a Westinghouse oven or something the other day. It's fine. It's a fine ad. And it was from like the 50s. It wasn't like an old, 1905, which I could see the appeal for something like that because it's so old. But like a 1950s oven, like it wasn't anything special, And I'm just amazed that people collect these things, $15, $16 on a magazine sheet from 1957 with a yellow oven. It's just amazes me. The stuff that people buy does amaze me. You go case by case. If they have turned the black person into a caricature, then don't list it. Did she just use err on the side of caution? I think I just said the exact words. Yeah, just because let's be honest, what's the big deal? Like if there's ads now with a black guy driving a cab, is that racist? I don't know. I don't know what the rules are anymore with some of that stuff. It's crazy. You can get too detailed and too petty in my view with some of that stuff. But whatever. Mark has never done end and still similar. Mark says maps. Okay, that's what you were writing up there. And I'm sorry, I know I'm behind, folks. It's something you struggle with too, profiting off the imagery of people of color portrayed in subservient roles. Well, there you go. That's the Dawn's point of view. Yeah, exactly. Use caution. I agree. And again, there's just so many choices out there for millions of other things. You got all these magazines, right, that you just came into recently today or yesterday, whatever it was. Go find yourself steer clear of anything like that could be potentially troubling to anyone. That's all. Pre-World War II, it's a peace sign. Yep. Yeah, I know, exactly. Wasn't it like a religious symbol or something? I've heard so many stories about that. But even with all that said, if somebody raises a stink about it, and I'm not saying they shouldn't or should, if it's a 1910 whatever ad and there happens to be a swastika in the background, just be careful. And again, I would never use the word in the title, that's for sure. You're asking for trouble. Hitler, don't write the word Hitler in your title. you know? Oh, just a few times. Okay. Yeah, I've done it a lot. But I'm not as paranoid about not doing it anymore where I was at some point. I've also gone in, what I did do with a bunch of print ads, this is something I never did before. Rather than just do a store-wide, 200 at a time, which is painful, and then sell similar, I started narrowing it into groups. Like I would eliminate print ads and eliminate postcards. That's my two biggest by far. I have 7,000 listings, a little over 7,000 listings. Probably 5,500 of those are either a print ad or a postcard. So what I did is I did everything that wasn't one of those two things, and I ended and sold similar on those. And then instead of ending and sell similar on print ads, this was about a month ago, around Thanksgiving, not a month, maybe 2 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago. Instead of ending everything, I just changed the price. I moved everything down 10% or up 10%, whatever I did, because I've heard that does almost the same thing. It's not quite as drastic as ending doing a brand new listing. But anytime you tweak those things, your pricing, your title, and your photo, it's supposed to kind of generate new interest in your advertisement, or in your listing. So I did that rather than end and sell similar. So I have a bunch of ads that are in excess of 30 days that I'm not going to go in and end, because I did make that change to the pricing. And I've been selling them with some consistency. So I don't want to screw that up. eBay doesn't differentiate between the two meanings of the symbol, though. Right, exactly. Right, absolutely. I don't know that it's eBay. I'm sure they have programming in effect to search for these things and play to search these things. But I've heard many people in eBay forums and stuff. It's basically if a person comes across your ad and says, "I'm offended by X," whatever it is, then eBay is they're going to probably take action, and send you the warning and take it down, and maybe even make an announcement if enough people complain about it. So I don't know that it's entirely a systematic thing where they go in and sweep and just look for swastikas or look for Hitler or whatever they're looking for. I think most times it's a personal complaint by somebody. You got a few sales, nothing that makes you want to do it over and over again. Yeah, I get that. That's what I'm saying. It's a quick jolt. Which is nice. Part of history. Yep. You had one like that. All the characters of Hitler and the others. Yeah. Did they really? Etsy took it down. That's interesting. Now, I know I always defer to Dawn with Etsy because she has a beautiful shop in Etsy. Dawn, feel free to drop a link for your Etsy. So I love her Etsy store. I think it's beautiful. But any Etsy questions, I would absolutely defer 1,000,000%. I'm sure a lot of you other guys, maybe you guys saw on Etsy and know a whole lot more than me. I have a very small presence on Etsy. So I find it interesting that they went ahead and took that down, Lisa. But Dawn is really good. If anybody has any questions or wants to talk Etsy, Dawn Wright of Canada. Queen O Canada. Fun fact, the Chinese swastic symbol, infinity all, in Chinese and other cultures, is a symbol of the universe, the manifestation created in God's symbol was used for evil. Interesting. Well put, Mark. Pick your battles, exactly. Like, no reason to get into anything that someone could consider offensive. It's just, there's just so many choices. If it was a world filled with swastikas and, Uncle Ben Rice ads, and that's all that was out there, we'd be in trouble. But thankfully, we have millions of other choices. So I would err on the side of caution, as many have said here. I think it's good practical sense. Exactly as I said earlier, right, Mark? Yeah, it's usually people. I mean, again, if enough people, I'm sure swastika, they have some kind of sweep out there to look for swastikas. I don't know how, Mark, for all joking aside, Mark is like a computer expert for many years, so he could probably speak to this. I don't know how savvy their search feature is or whatever, what they would have to key off of to look for swastikas. I don't know if they could do an image search like that, but maybe Mark can speak to that. But swastika is a big one. Hitler's a big one. There's a lot of other ones that are kind of on the bubble, I would say, at least publicly, that I don't know if eBay's taken a stance. And I think Mark's absolutely right that if enough people call in or write in or whatever they do to complain about this, then they'll take action. And I imagine it's just a numbers thing. If enough people do it, maybe they'll put in some sort of programming to proactively go in. I've heard some people talk in forums. I wish this is really asking for a lot, but you know how like certain items, when they get taken down, or if you go to list certain items in certain categories, like World War II stuff, actually, it'll literally give you a little pop-up. Hey, are you sure you want to list this? We have a don't violate policy ABC. I wish they had pop-ups like that for these things. Like if you have the word, if you're foolish enough to put the word Hitler in your title, boom, you should have a pop-up. You probably do if you put the word Hitler. But I just wish there was more of that rather than letting you list the thing, let it sit out there for a period of time and then potentially get a slap on the wrist or, have it pulled down. I've had a bunch pulled down. That's why I stopped listing it a year or two ago, whenever it was, when all this started kind of with the Aunt Jemima thing. I probably had like 50 Aunt Jemima ads across, 100-year span of time, whatever. I don't know the exact time frame, but they took one or two of them down and, gave me the canned sort of thing. This image depicts this, blah, blah, blah. We've taken it down. Please don't relist it. And basically something to the effect of, you will not be impacted, but do not relist it. So once I got like one or two of those, I just went in proactively and deleted them all. Why wait for trouble? Tried to kick it in the butt before, because you figure how many warnings you're going to get until they're actually going to take some sort of action. So that was the only one. And then it wasn't Uncle Ben's. What was the other one? We just talked about this. Cream of wheat. I think the cream of wheat ads have like a black chef or something. So I took those down. Yep. Original meaning behind the symbol doesn't matter once it's co-opted and used as a symbol of genocide. Well, yellow kitchen ad. Yeah, 62. That's funny. We had a yellow stove growing up. My house was from the early 60s. So yeah, 62. That's funny. When you tweak the price, people can click on the sideboard deals and save and see the news count. Ah, very good. Yeah, so it has an impact. I'm not saying it's as powerful an impact as doing an end install similar, but it's a nice way. And this has been going on for years. I've heard about that. I've done that. Go up 5% every once in a while, go down 5% in pricing, change a photo if at all needed. I know a lot of people, the longer you start doing this and you come up with tech, like let's say, for instance, my print ads. Before I got that beautiful optic slim, huge made for blueprint scanner, like so many of us, I used to do just pictures with my phone, or I used to scan it in a smaller scanner. And I would do the top in one image and then the bottom. So I would have two images for every print ad. And that's how I could go back. If I have any ads live that have the 2-page, half a page as one picture, half a page as a second, I know it's an older listing for sure because it predates the Optic Slim. But those kind of things, you learn to tweak along the way and you learn to take better photographs and stuff. So I've gone in for years and gone in and redone a photo, or like somebody brought this up in the last show, which is a great point. It was a World War II ad. I apologize. I know somebody mentioned this. I don't remember who it was, but they're like, I would zoom in on the action scene, let's say, and then pull out for the second picture. It was great advice. So things like that affect your listing in a positive way. If you go in and tweak a photo, change the photo, the white background thing, which now you could do with the click of a button right on eBay, and it's okay. It's pretty good. Things like that. The pricing for sure. Do your title, change your keywords a little bit, mix it up. Try putting words closer to the front of the listing. I've gotten away. I don't know if anybody noticed this. I've gotten away from using this took me years to do, but I'm doing it. I used to write vintage print ad on everything. Now I'm just putting print ad. I don't feel a need to put vintage anymore. I was doing, for the really old ads, what was antique print ads. I got away from that. So I'm saving that space in my title. I'm just putting print ad as opposed to vintage. I did some searches on eBay looking for comps and things and looking at recent solds. And I saw that almost nobody had vintage. Not a lot of people had vintage. It didn't seem that impactful, so I started removing it. Annoyed by the latest eBay update when you can only send offers as a percentage. Yeah, I don't know about that, Keith. I don't use the app at all. At all. Other than like if I'm in bed and I hear a cha-ching. Or if somebody sends me an offer, I guess. That's about the only time I'm ever on the thing. I'm always on the computer. 7 to 8% of your sales this year from listed from 19. Yeah, absolutely. They all sell. And you're knee deep in or elbow deep in the ephemera. So long tail it is. In red area and the sun sign, they turn in the opposite direction. Well, there you go. We always learn something here on this show, don't we? Yes, please, Dawn. How far behind am I, folks? What time was this comment? 7:40. 6 minutes behind. Let's catch up. Please what? Sorry, I missed something. Yes, post your Etsy link. Absolutely. Go check out Dawn's store. CJ, look at CJ already taking matters into his old hands. Thank you. Own hands, not old hands. Young hands. Computer can tell you what any... Here we go, Mark. A computer can tell what in any picture uploaded. Think a Google image or music. Shazam. It's ones and zeros on the computer. Looks for patterns. Okay. And it can scan every image uploaded. Oh, beautiful. Here's the... Somewhere. I guess she'll post it later. Oh, boy. BlackRock. I was in the mutual fund industry for 30-something years, and I know all about BlackRock. I went out and visited them. It is a lovely shop. Well said, Lisa. It is a lovely shop. Yellow from... That the yellow from back then was called Harvest Gold or something like... Oh, the yellow for the appliances is what you're saying, huh? Well, everybody knows the term 50... You know, we talk about mid-century modern. People use that all the time now. I don't know. Maybe that's starting to fade. That was ridiculous. Everybody was using that term for 1930 to 1970 is all of a sudden mid-century. But anyway, 50s pink. 50s pink is a real thing. That's a good keyword to use as a pro tip. If you have 50s magazines, like maybe some of you guys have, your 50s Life magazines or any other magazine, you'll see 50s pink. It's a color. You'll see it in bathrooms and kitchens all the time. So use that term, 50s pink. Redskins will cause you trouble. The football team? See, that's another thing. The Braves are still out there. Like, it's just so inconsistent. You got the Atlanta Braves, you got the Kansas City Chiefs. They're fine, but the Indians are gone and the Redskins have changed. Like, all or none. How do you define a book plate? You cannot force people to buy your item or force the market to... Amen, Mark. A printing plate. Yeah, paper's usually glossy even when the rest isn't. Did you pull that off the Google? You guys sell books as a whole? Just out of curiosity. You know what I'm thinking of doing? It just reminded me of this, Cameron. Not by saying anything specifically. I had years ago, and again, I still have some listed. I used to just sell magazines, like so many people do, just whole magazines before I got into the ad thing. And I have a bunch of magazines that I'm holding on to since like 2016, 2017. That never sold. You know, Mrs. Flip, long ago, we used to go to Borders bookstore all the time, or Barnes & Noble. We used to go to Borders too, but Barnes & Noble. And when my girls were a little bit younger, we used to go there on a weekend and just hang out and get coffee and hang out for hours. We really enjoyed it. When the weather was lousy, it was something to do with the girls. Well, anyway, I think I might have told this story, but I'm going to tell it again. In the back of the Barnes & Noble that we used to go to was a dumpster. And in said dumpster were pristine magazines that they would just, you know, if they didn't sell it, they had like an expiration date essentially in the bookstore, you know, display until July 5th or whatever. And then they were obligated to get rid of them and put new stock up there. Well, anyway, they would place these magazines in like a pristine state in this beautiful, cleanest dumpster I've ever seen. The only thing that's in there is paper, so it wasn't like mixed with other garbage or anything. And Mrs. Flippett used to dive in there, and that's how we got started with magazines. We would take home guitar magazines, which I love, anything that was, you know, just discarded because they had to get rid of it. And I used to list and sell at the time free magazines, and it was great. You know, it wasn't huge money, but some of them were like foreign magazines, like British magazines, like there was one I remember called Aeroplane, AERO. It was probably how Dawn Wright spells it. Aeroplane magazine, Toy Soldier was a magazine I sold a bunch of. You know, the foreign ones that you couldn't come upon easily. Some of those were sold for like $12 just for the magazine, which I thought was great. Well, anyway, the reason I'm telling this story is I still have a bunch up that haven't sold. And now I'm thinking, you know, we talk about some people that do like 80s and 90s magazines. And, you know, these magazines that I have are only like 5 or 6 years old. Maybe I should cut up the magazines that have been sitting there that I haven't sold as a whole. I never thought about that until recently when I was looking, when I was doing that process that I just told you guys about, where I was just changing prices on things. You know, I was sorting by categories, and I had a bunch of magazines. I'm like, man, like I have the Queen Elizabeth's, what is it? Not Diamond was 70th or 75th? 2012, whatever the 2012 anniversary was, 70th anniversary, I guess that was. So I have a bunch of magazines about that never sold. I had like 10 of them because that's how the nice thing was in that bin. They would put piles of them. It wasn't just like one-off magazines. It was like 20 of the Queen magazine, 20 guitar magazines, all nice and bundled and like just placed in the dumpster. It's a sin, actually. So anyway, I'm thinking maybe I can cut up some 2012 magazines and get some, contemporary ads out of them. I might do that. Maybe we'll do a show all about that. All brand new stuff, relatively new stuff, especially compared to the stuff I usually list. You're a long tail seller in a room full of rocking chairs. Mark just coming up with quote after quote, t-shirt material. It's good stuff. Try Google Lens with a print ad. I'll tell you what the picture is for the ad. Yeah, sometimes I've done that before with some of the stuff we go through. Yep. Pepto-Bismol. Yeah, pretty much. Pulled it out of your keister. I know. Yes, the football team. You had a high school annual and a picture of a football player that went pro. Put it in the towel. Oh, really? That's crazy. See, I think that's just silly. I do. The Redskins were around for 80 years or whatever. If you're going to sell a Redskins jersey, a Redskins jacket, what do? You can't put Redskins anymore? Like, can you not sell any Redskins paraphernalia? But why can you sell Kansas City Chiefs? Why can you sell Atlanta Braves? Mark, over to you. What's the verdict? You love dumpster diving? I enjoyed that. I mean, it was fun. We used to go to Five Below. You guys have Five Below. It's a cheap store. These were just places when we used to drive around with the girls when we started thinking about doing eBay again. Because I did eBay literally when it started for a little while. Like I'm sure many of us did. It was almost like a gimmick, like a fun, stupid thing to do. And I gave it up for years and years and years. And I got back into it full throttle around then, 14 or 15, something like that. And we used to do things like that. We would drive around and go to the cleanest dumpsters we could possibly find. And Mrs. Flippett would, head over heels. Boom, she would get in there because once she smelled money, when she saw us selling these magazines that were completely free for $12, $15 a pop, she's like, we're getting every one of them. And we used to go into the bookstore all the time every weekend. So we used to take pictures with the phone of when these magazines weren't going to be displayed anymore. And we would say, okay, we're going to get this one. We're going to get this one. And she would go diving in. I kind of miss that. That was fun. But man, we would take we had this big Jeep at the time. We'd fill the Jeep with magazines. And yes, we sold some, but a whole bunch of them we didn't. The definition of long tail. Is that legal in Fredericktown? Oh, the dumpster diving. Most dumpsters here. Yeah, you know who locks them? Best Buy. I used to work at Best Buy very briefly in the Geek Squad doing computer repairs and stuff. And I saw the stuff they would throw away. It's mostly like accessories and things, but stuff that, resellers like us would drool over, like, perfect cables and all the stuff that they mark up 5,000%. And they got smart and they started locking up the dumpsters, unfortunately, at Best Buy. We used to get TVs. I used to take broken TVs that were returned and would sell the parts, the internals, which were worth a lot of money. The boards and stuff. Every type of ad, says Eric. Nothing in this town but pizza dumpsters. Yeah, you want to stay away from the nasty food ones. Dawn, can polar bears pick locks? That's funny. It's funnier too. Criminal trespassing. Get out, really? Is that a state-by-state thing? They have laws about that? Is it town by town? You sell Cleveland Indian stuff. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, how can you erase, 100 years literally of stuff, like, from something that popular? It doesn't make much sense. I'm surprised that Etsy put the kibosh on that, huh? As they say in Canada. Polar bears just try to use brute force. It's funny. You think it's silly too. It's history. You might have been able to make the argument, but you just took it down. Yeah, no, I know. And to Mark's point, choose your fights, pick your fights. Definitely not worth it. But it's just, there's too much out there. The Washington Redskins, a legendary. Excuse me. Turn off the fan as we get cold again. Legendary franchise, for eternity. There's gonna be lots of stuff out there for sale. Football jerseys and stuff sell very well. Ran across one of the spring ones. Funny looking at the. We have raccoons too. We have raccoon, and we have a lot of deer in my area because we're surrounded by woods. My townhome community is surrounded by woods. Oh, big announcement. We had snow flurries yesterday, folks. It's more than flurries. It snowed for 3 hours. Nothing stuck to the ground because it's way too warm still. But like the grass got that little bit of like frost effect. But probably the only snow we'll get all year. But I was excited to see some snow falling finally. Now I say this, and now I just told everybody how I'm hitting the road. Pittsburgh, and which to get to Pittsburgh, you drive through mountains and stuff through Central PA. So my luck, watch, first week in January, blizzard of the century will probably hit after it hasn't snowed in like 7 years in this area. Anything substantial over a couple inches. Watch it hit in January. Better not. A Lake George postcard, sure. Dumpster diving, yeah. It is fun. There's a lot of fun with that stuff. You used to religiously in Texas dumpster dive and GameStop. Yeah, I'm sure you made some good money there, right? The Best Buy one killed me because it was in the same shopping center as the Barnes & Noble was that we used to go to. So before they locked it up, I said the flat screen TV stuff. I remember from working there in Geek Squad, they used to return them if they had like a screen crack or whatever, with good reason. But the innards were perfect, and that stuff sells well. Components, parting it out, as they say. It's a whole thing on eBay, right? Selling the parts, usually more valuable than the whole, depending on what the part is. Someone's a general manager at GameStop. He has so much stuff, and some sells once in a while. That's cool. And I guess in theory, Cameron, I don't have that many ads tonight. I was looking for World War II, and I think I've got almost all of them up, believe it or not. I still have a whole other crate filled with magazines that I have not delved into. So I have tons of 60s ads, tons and tons and tons of 60 magazines, I should say. So I figured it would start with some 60 stuff. And the first one I grabbed was from October of 66, It's Life. And there's so many ads in it, but there are so many 2-page ads, so many car magazines. I'll show you guys. Hang on one second. So I only scanned about 12, and none of them were double pages. There we go. See, I grabbed this one this afternoon to show you guys to scan for a show tonight. I'm like, okay, 66. Let's go to 66. Every page. This one is killer, though, for my car folks. Got a 3-pages. Red Camaro. 60, I think it might be model year 67, but that's one page. And then that's the other two. Would that be a muscle car, folks, by the way? So you got an SS Camaro. It's October 66 magazine. I'll read the details. It might be a 67 model year, but that's a 3-pager. It just takes a lot more time to scan the double images, and then I have to do editing on a photo editor to get them all into one page. So like I got frustrated because almost every ad in this magazine was a 2-pager. So I wound up just getting like even this one for Schlitz beer, 2-pager. All nice stuff. All very nice stuff. But another 2-page. Yes, it's 67 Oldsmobile. So, end of, how it is. Like same thing now, obviously. At the end of right now, the end of a calendar year, they start, even in the fall, they start hyping up the next model year, the next year's model year. So anyway, I got tons of ads in this magazine, but they're all 2 pages. To the point of being annoying, actually. Now, the good thing about that is they command a little more money because they're 2 pages. But that Camaro ad was really nice. I'm probably going to list that one right away. 67 Camaro. Hey, no problem, Mark. Thanks for all your input tonight. Great job. Go check out Mark on YouTube. SM Postcards is the name. Hope you have a great weekend, man. I'll see you later. Bye, Mark. Question, do you ever try to rehabilitate an ad with a crease? It was a lost cause. Yeah, you could probably I have a very tiny benefit of having a mother-in-law and grandmother-in-law who just passed away. My grandmother-in-law was a seamstress forever, so she has and we've acquired all this stuff now. Tons of seamstress gadgetry. One of which is a very small. I would grab it if it was handy, but it's not. It's probably about the size of my capo here, which is like 3-4 inch flat iron. It's a steaming iron. Something like that would work, Lisa, on paper. I've used it before to flatten out things. You put like a piece of cheesecloth over it, or wax paper, or a really thin, even a paper towel, I guess you could use. You don't want to go directly on the paper because you could burn it, but it depends on how deep the crease is, obviously. But if it's at a reasonable crease, something that you think could be ironed out literally, something like that would work really well. Just some steam, a heat. You could even probably just use like a hair dryer on it or something, as long as it's not directly on the paper. But it really depends on the severity. If the ads are cool enough and they're nice and old like that from 1923, unless they're obscenely bent, yeah, I would try to fix it. Yeah, it really depends on the answer to so many things is it depends, right? It depends on how bad it is. If it's like, if it's distracting to the point where it blocks something that you're trying, like if this Camaro ad, I'm not going to do it, was bent in half and I had like a white line with, that would be a lost cause. But if it's just like a subtle thing, especially in a corner, I would try some of those methods. You could go to YouTube and check out like ways to flatten paper. There's all types of videos about that. It's a 66 only year with wing windows. There you go. Cool. So I got a 3-page Camaro ad coming at you. Cool. There you go. I think Etsy and eBay compress the pictures enough trying to print what look bad. Trying to print the pictures. Yeah, maybe. There you go. Yeah, everybody needs to do that. It's an adorable little shop. Cool. It's just like eBay is the same name. Yeah. Let me know how it goes. Again, as long as it's not like ridiculous. There's a difference between a crease and damage. You know what I mean? Because let me see if I can get a piece of paper that it's not an ad. Like we will not be creasing the car ad here. All right. Man, like even a Hoover vacuum ad, 2 pages. I can't even find a page that doesn't have an ad. Man, oh man. Here we go. Just pulled out a nondescript piece of paper from this magazine, right? Let's use an example. If this is bent like that, but it's not damaged, you know what I mean? There's no like rip in the paper or something like this. You bend the opposite way in the same direction. You could always, another old trick is just put it like in something very heavy, like again, put some sort of protective covering over it and then put like heavy books on top of it and compress it for a period of time. Eventually it'll go out. But the steam is probably the best thing I know of. But what I'm saying is like if it's creased drastically, like I'm going to try to do now, and it impacts, that's hard to say. If it was color, you'd probably see it better. But see like how there's like little offshoots of almost like rips to it? Something like that I probably would not list. And that's a sin if you have a ton of, 90, 100-year-old ads that you can't list because of damage like that. The good thing is, as we've discussed before, is most people don't realize the value of their magazines or what's in their magazines. And you'll find them all the time. Our big thing is estate sales. When we go to estate sales all the time, we'll find old magazines, especially Life. Life is just such a common magazine. But even like more recent stuff, People magazines, things like that. Anything that has an ad in it, which is basically any magazine, people don't think about them having any value, And we've literally seen people walk over them at estate sales. And the other thing we always do when we're trying to get magazines is ask the person running the estate sale, even if they don't have any magazines presented, just ask, hey, does Mrs. Smith have any magazines lying around that they don't want? Or, oh yeah, we put them in a drawer. We didn't think anybody would want them. And then you just, you put your poker face on, I'll give you a couple of bucks. You want me to get rid of them? I'll get rid of them. Because most of them, they're always there on day 3 of the estate sale. Almost always. Even the dreaded National Geographic, which is ubiquitous, you see them everywhere. Life magazines, People magazines, even the Playboys and stuff. Dawn, did you ever? I could have sworn Dawn and I had a conversation about this. I might have been dreaming, but Playboys. Can't you? There's regular ads in Playboy magazines, right? There's going to be like a Coca-Cola ad, let's say, in a Playboy. So to the question earlier about is there any type of an ad that you won't list or whatever? Usually, like I said, the source itself is going to drive that answer. But Playboy is almost mainstream at this point. I'm sure it is, but like as long as there's a regular ad and it doesn't have anything, unsavory, I'm listing it. So I think a Playboy, anything like that. So ask around if you're interested in picking up magazines really cheaply. You don't know where to find these things. I mean, we've stepped in it several times. These really ancient magazines that we have from like 1890s, to 1910 or so, same thing. They were all found at estate sales, and they were in shambles. These are big. They're like 16 by 12. Most of these magazines, they're huge, and almost every time the cover itself is mangled or whatever. And that's one of the main reasons. And this kind of shoved in with a bunch of other ones like lousy state magazines. And those are the ones I drool over because, again, as long as there's no mildew on it or anything horrible, I'll pick them up. And people think they're absolute garbage. I'm like, yeah, I'll get rid of these for you. Make it very nonchalant when you're going up to make your payment on whatever you bought at the estate sale. You could get amazing magazines, tons of them from pre-1910 that people just walked over. And you make so much money on them. The $75 ad I sold, whatever, the Uncle Sam thing was one of those, Didn't even have that magazine didn't even have a cover. So ask and ye shall find. Hey, what's up, Steven? How you doing? There was no 66 Camaro. They started making them in 67. Well, sir, did you see the picture I just showed? So you're telling me this is the debut? Got a 3-page ad here. Mr. Holton. Here are 2 of them. It says SS. This is from an October. We've been waiting for a Chevy like this. Now it's here. Okay, yes, this is the debut of the Camaro. And there's a 3rd page here too, which I'll find. So maybe that'll add to the value. I hope. We'll see. That's something I'll look up. And the fact that it's 3 pages is really cool. But welcome, Stephen. Great to have you, man. And your grandfather worked at the Hoover Vacuum. Hoover, you can see tons of Hoover ads. Tons of Hoover ads, especially way back, 20s and stuff. Building repurposed now. Do they not make Hoovers anymore? Yeah, try the Steam, Lisa. Try the Steam. And let me know how it goes on the next show. Example of a watermark for Etsy. It was 67, 68, 69. Yeah, so I guess this is I would think if it's let me try to find I can't believe I somehow separated that first page from this. That's the sin. That's pretty cool to know. See, I wouldn't have known that. This is the first year of the Camaro. Like I have a Miller High Life ad, 2 pages. Everything in this magazine is a double-page ad. Here's the first page. If you didn't see it, Steven. That's the first page. So it's 3 pages in succession. Nice, sharp-looking ad there. So that's my dilemma with the 60s stuff, is that a lot of double-page ads. Thank you, Lisa. Yes, report in. We expect a full report. Hopefully you'll find success. Would you say that they're really badly bent, like we were describing? Is it just kind of a subtle little crease? You think it's something that's worth salvaging? Again, if it's just a sin, it's a 100-year-old magazine. You got to try to salvage something, right? And is it consistent through the whole issue, or is it just a couple of pages? I mean, I'll always find that. That's going to happen over time. Like these 60s ones are in great shape, but some of the older ones, the first couple of pages might be sort of mangled. But once I get in a little bit, I always hope that the mangled ones are going to be like articles and things I don't care about. And usually I'm pretty lucky with that. The ads themselves, the meat and potatoes of the magazine, that's what you care about. I always talk about this. I don't care much about the cover other than discerning when what the issue is and when it's from and all. And the back cover is usually beat up. And the back cover of almost every Life magazine is going to be a cigarette ad, which sometimes are really good. And unfortunately, they're often in very lousy shape. But again, even that's a relative term, lousy shape, as long as it's not like ripped, as long as it's not like, marker on or something like that, or a big stain. I could salvage some of those back. The Chesterfield, you'll see Chesterfield cigarettes a lot on the old magazines. On the back page, the back cover, it's a little bit thicker cardstock because it's a cover. And sometimes you could salvage that, as long as you describe it accurately. And they could see it in the scans. The scans are all telling. If there's like some smudges and stuff, it's evident right in the listing. Since the show started, you've listed 30 ads. Way to go, man. Before heading to get coffee to do some more. Good job, Eric. That's awesome. Yeah, I gotta do some listing tonight. I gotta get to my 100. I'm gonna bang out postcards. That's so simple to list so fast with my little 6-bit. So getting 100 is like child's play now. Doing 100 ads was aggressive. Doing 100 postcards is a joke. It's much easier. Pretty deep, but the ink is unspoiled. That's good. What a great way to put it. The ink is unspoiled. That's kind of where I was going. Like where there's like, the analogy might be like if you get a chip in your windshield and it's a neat little crease, or does it start to spider? Kind of the same thing with the bend in the magazine. 15 to 20 pages within the magazine, but some really cool ads. Okay, good luck. Hopefully you'll be able to salvage of the vast majority. What's up, DePage? How you doing? Welcome aboard, man. You're trying 100, 150. Tremendous. Are you seeing success? How long have you been doing it? Yeah, truly. Yeah, that's right. Well-seasoned ads. Saturday Evening Post. That's one of my standbys, Lisa. Absolutely. In fact, I probably listed on several of the more recent live listing shows were Saturday Evening Posts. Mine were from the 40s, the ones I listed recently. But yeah, I have tons of them from the 20s as well. Steven says, you've noticed in old car magazines that some of the articles about certain cars even sell on eBay. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'm a big fan of selling articles. Great point. Articles sell well on eBay from these magazines too. So if you see something, I always use this one because it was a big one for me. Had an Elvis, like 4 or 5 page Elvis article when he was brand new. Like something like that. Elvis collectors, lots of them out there. So something like that. Yeah, some baseball stuff. I had like a whole thing about Jackie Robinson from a 47 magazine, so I put that up. You name it. Somebody really famous like that, or a very topical article about something infamous or whatever. Definitely a good point. Certainly worth listing, especially if they're in good shape and it's all consecutive. To Stephen's point, provided that the whole article is there, right? You don't want to tease with like page 1, but it's a 5-page, pamphlet or something that comes out. You only have 1 page of it. Although you never know, somebody might buy that because they might be missing that 1 page. But yeah, I try to make sure everything's complete and neat. That's a t-shirt design, Unspoiled Ink, or YouTube channel name. Unspoiled Ink. I'm not sure what that is. Esquire has some cool stereo equipment ads. Oh, sure. In fact, the 66 magazine that's sitting next to me that I guess we'll get to next time, because it'll give me more time to scan. We have a 67 Plymouth Fury, 3-page ad again. I have a whole stereo set in that one to page from the 66. It's kind of nice. You only hear crickets right now. Uh-oh. No sales? No sales? Did you leave a thumbs up, Vaughn? Gotta leave the thumbs up. That's hysterical, Jeff. If you like pristine, this is not for you. Yeah. The beauty of the scans is they are all telling, as I say. So as long as you're not describing it as brand new or pristine and then presenting something with, a rip and water stains on it, you should be good. Truth in advertising, right? You list a lot of articles too. Yep. The ones that sell from usually have to do with the military. Interesting. The other ones are just setting. Yeah, it depends. Like everything else, depends on the topic and collectability and desirability. That's a funny face. It is a cool name. Oh, you were just throwing that out there as asking the question, should I go for that name? Is that what you were saying? You're installing laminate flooring and taking breaks, lots of breaks. And, oh, man, so you deserve breaks. That sounds like back-breaking work, actually. Good luck with that, Barry. You have a time frame, in theory, you'd like to have this project completed by? Do you pronounce it like Lise or like Lisa? Just not lice. Lice ain't nice. Lise. Yeah, so funny. One of my best friends growing up, wife, name was Alisa. Alisa, L-L-A-L-L-I-S-A. I think that's how I spelled it. And he would always call her Lise, like that. So you're not alone, Lise Piles. How do you say it, though? Your favorite was an ad for an 8-track carousel deck. That's cool. Low 12 8-tracks and play shuffle. Wow. I don't remember ever seeing any of those. We had an 8-track in the car, of course, like so many did. And my mom we had an 8-track in our living room. My Beatles White album was on an 8-track, and during Bungalow Bill, it used to switch in the middle. That's the biggest thing about 8-tracks I always hated, was the way in the middle of a song it would switch and go to another track. It was awful. So you'd be in the middle of a song, you'd have to get chunk, 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 and it would continue. Pain in the neck. Pain in the neck. 8-tracks sell for decent money sometimes on eBay, depending on the artist and the album, or on Discogs as well. Ching for Jim sold a postcard. Congratulations, man. Way to go. Thank you for leaving that thumbs up, because I know it's the only way you got the sale, let's be honest. Notice I don't hear any chings this last hour and 17 minutes. What's going on with that? It's because I stopped listing, that's why. The best feeling in the world and one of the best motivations is when you're on one of these tears and you're trying to get through whatever your number is. I want to get 20 listings up today. I want to get 50. I want to get 100, 200, whatever it is. When you're in the midst of doing that, and let's be honest, everybody gets, a little bored now and then. If I'm just going through these postcards and they're all the same, Christmas postcard Holly, Christmas postcard Santa, la la la. It's so encouraging to hear those cha-chings come in while you're doing it, because it's kind of a reminder, this is why I'm doing this, another glass of wine, wife, and you keep going. So like my wife went to bed really early. She's not feeling good again, but hopefully she'll feel better tomorrow. So it's only 8:15 here. I'll probably stay up till midnight listing. Maybe I'll get 200 ads up tonight, or 200 listings. As long as consistency, as long as I get something up every day. It's just my own personal goal. I want to get the 100 every day, but if I do 77 one night, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. You know what I mean? But if I don't do any, I'm not sleeping at all. It's a UK thing. The shuffle thing? Yeah, it's really interesting. I never saw that before. Conga rats. Bum, 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 bum. A lot of them are former muscle cars you owned, had 8-track players in them. Yeah, cool. Yeah, 70, 71. That's like heart of 4-track territory, right? You too, Karen. Have a great night. Have a great weekend. Great to have you in. As always, thank you very much. Monday, you're installing 4-foot strips a day. Wow, okay. Lots of Aleve for the back, right? That's what I use. Aleve is my friend. I get sciatica attacks driving in the car and stuff, and my back is always broken from lifting equipment and all that for the band. So Aleve, Alleve. It's the only thing that does anything for me. Yes. Do you remember what it was, Lisa? I'd have to look back. It was something really silly. There's a term called quack medicine that you'll see if you search quack medicine. You'll see it pop up on eBay. It was like I think it was like a cure for baldness gimmick thing. It was a square inch. Yep, square inch. If you're in the 1923 magazines, if you go back even before then, some of those really large ones I was telling you about, the last Ladies' Home Journal is one of the ones I know for sure, from like 1905 to 1915. Let's just say for fun. The last 10 pages will be filled with these really small ads. They look like classified ads that you would see in a newspaper, for everything under the sun. Sometimes it'd be like help wanted ads. We want men, virile young men to work in, the logging industry. And it's like a tiny little ad to these gimmicky things, elixir of life and, magical pills and baldness cures and all that stuff. To clothing and all of those things. I mean, most people blow those off because you're looking for the big money ad, the big visually stimulating ad for something spectacular. And those little ones, I have tons. I know Dawn does too. Tons of them. Those really small. I mean, 1 by 1 inch. That's an extreme, but it did sell. But the more realistic, 4 by 3, something like that. Don't sleep on any of those things. Get them up. You'd be amazed. First of all, they're so simple. If you do have a scanner, if you're lucky enough, you just do one scan. Get 25 ads off of one scan. Take the one picture and use some sort of photo editor and just cut out and save as copy, save as copy, save as copy. And you have, all those ads with one listing, one scan. So lots of good stuff, especially Ladies' Home Journal from those 1905 to 1915-ish period. You're going to see tons of those kind of things. When you have to pack it before you file it. What's up, Outlaw Films? You forgot about the show just remember. Well, I'm glad you remembered. Welcome aboard, man. Great to have you. The fake. I always wonder that if people have like a sound effect going. I mean, that's pretty. If you need to get that low, that's pathetic. You saw a video today that said when you get a sale, let's say $20, take a $20 bill and put it on your desk as motivation. That's a good thing too. Physical cash is motivation. Absolutely, it is, Eric. But yeah, just the sound of the cha-ching. I mean, as cheesy as it sounds, and you would think we'd all be quasi immune to that sound, hopefully, right? From years of doing this, but it's still a rush every time, and it is the best remedy sometimes when I get that temptation to get up. I mean, I get up and stretch and stuff. I'm not, chained to my desk, but if I'm on a roll and I really want to, especially now that it's 8:30 at night and I'm short of my 100 goal, I want to make sure before I go to bed, I got the 100 in the bank today. So like the temptation will be about 10 o'clock if I'm sitting here and I'm still listening. I don't really want to do this. Let me go get a drink. Let me listen to something. You hear that cha-ching? Let's go. And you just get all fired up. So I like that idea too. Yeah. Put a cash on your, $20 sale. Like you said, put $20 bill. Good advice. I like it. A leave. Gotta love a leave. Oh, is it 1L? I don't know. Whatever. You've been selling, but your cha-ching. You've been selling, but your ching is not working. Oh no, really? See, that's awful. Sometimes I forget to, like when I go to bed, I put my phone on mute. It just buzzes if something happens because I don't want to hear anything all night when I'm sleeping. And that is a little disappointing when sometimes in the morning I'll come downstairs and I'll get my coffee and everything. I forget to take the silent thing off the phone, and it's sitting right here next to it. And I'll see a cha-ching come up on the computer, and I'm like, "Where's my cha-ching sound?" You feel gypped if you don't hear the cha-ching. That's part of the rush. How about your mojo? You got your mojo rising? On your phone. Check something stupid like that. Is another cure for that, because I've heard people, if it becomes like an epidemic where it never gives you the cha-ching, just uninstall eBay and then reinstall it. Usually that fixes it. Do I cut the small ads out? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I cut them out. I still use my trimmer. It depends on how small, right? Like the pages that I was describing earlier, it's going to be like a series of very much like a newspaper column, Enzo, like where you have like lines, I don't know, 2-3 inches going down consecutively down a sheet of paper. So like I'll cut the one lengthwise or 2 or 3 lengthwise. And then if it's really small, like the square inch or square, 2-3 inches, I'll just use a scissor and cut them out. Absolutely. But the good thing is, I'm always trying to, improve. Hopefully we all are, improve our processes and become more efficient. So like I said, if I do that one scan on there and I can get 20 ads from it because they're all smaller, I don't go in and cut them all out right away. I just put it in my usual filing system. And then when the ad sells, I'll go in and cut it out, in an ongoing effort to improve my production, There's no reason to sit there and cut them all out and then put them into the thing. And I'm still have to go. It's much easier to find when they're all on one page. If something sells, I cut it out and I put it in the mail. Oh, sorry about that. I just put my water on the camera and the camera shook. Camera done shook. You scan the entire sheet and cut them out. Oh, okay. That's exactly what I do. Yep. Oh, you know what you're talking about? Arthur Murray dance lessons. Arthur Murray, sure. My sister took ballet lessons at the Arthur Murray Dance School for like 6 months until she gave up. Early Sea Monkey ads? Yeah. There's so many of them. The really, define early, but those, for me, that pre-1920, let's call it, World War I and earlier, you're going to see tons of those things. And most people, including me, early on, I would discard that. I was always looking for the 3-page Camaro ad, and blowing off these little ones, but no reason to. They sell. Yep, scan it all together. Absolutely. Yeah, and then you just take your scan in your computer. I don't know if I don't know who uses phones versus computers and all that stuff, but without question, for me, if you're going to do something like this, take your scan on your computer and then use a photo app. Even the photo app itself, I think you can crop, right? Then you just crop the individual ads virtually and save them as a copy, so you don't lose. If you save it, you'll lose the whole page, right? So just save as copy and title it. Sometimes what I do is when I title it, I'll put 3x5. I'll put the dimensions, and if there's multiple with that, I'll put 3x5A, 3x5B, and so on. And then you save them all in a folder, and they become individual, literally 20 potentially listings. And then when I go in to do my listing and I import my photo, I take one of the little pictures. But really, it only took the time to scan one page, one sheet. And as I said, when I put it in my in the drawer to put away until something sells. I just put the whole sheet in there, put it in the drawer, get a ching a couple of days later for that little, Sea Monkey ad that the page talks about. Go in, pull it out, cut it out, and mail it. Don't waste time in minutiae, busy work kind of stuff. You sold the 1905 Acme washing machine. Yeah, congratulations. 1-inch ad. There you go. Yeah. See, again, it's all about what the image is and what the thing is. 1905 Acme. There's a bolo for you, folks. 1905 Acme washing machine. Beautiful. Congratulations. That's awesome. An Android. The X-ray glasses ads. What got me started? Oh, really? Get out. X-ray glasses. That's cool. There you go. Doing with the IT support. You could also just did you try to delete the app, Fun, and reinstall it? X-ray glasses. Yeah, that's pretty cool. You're welcome. You're welcome. And thank you, Dawn. If you're saying thank you to Dawn. Do not disturb on your phone. You're skittish and you jump out your skin every time your phone makes a sound. Really? Yeah, when in doubt. Dawn had sea monkeys. Why don't you get about half an inch bigger? Creepy. Aren't they really like krill or something? Aren't they baby shrimp? Dinky toys. Very good. Gotta love sea monkey. Whatever happened to the old sea monkey? There's a stocking stuffer for you. Here you go, kids. From was over, the sea monkey team was like a snow globe or something. Oh, sea monkey genocide. Got your sale. Congratulations, Paige. Congratulations. Those sea monkeys are brine shrimp. There you go. Yep. Ugh. Outlaw Films, how you doing? How do you ship large ads such as Life magazine ads? What envelopes do you use for those really big ads? Outlaw Films, I have. Do I have it under this? Let's go to my YouTube channel, shall we? I think I have a link for the envelopes or the mailers that I use. I think I have that below the show, don't I? Maybe I don't. Yeah, I do. If you check out Outlaw Films, just check out the description right below the video. Either now, if I don't know what you're watching on, but when you get a chance, check it out. They're on all the videos. I have links to all those things, like virtually everything I use. So I have the exact mailers I use for the larger ads, because almost all of my ads are life-size magazine or bigger, and those things work really well. Those rigid mailers. I really appreciate this, by the way. When I sell an ad, when people are kind enough to leave feedback on a purchase, always complimented on almost always the compliment will go something along the line with, packed securely, mailed safely. I appreciate the packaging. They almost always talk about that with these print ads. So I highly recommend, if you're interested, check out the link below and you can see the exact mailers that I use if you're interested. But thanks for the question. And I have a whole video about, in the video series, about packing and shipping too. If you want to check that out on the channel. Canadian whiskey. Show me some little VO. What is that for? My shipping video. Thank you, Dawn. Yeah, you can check that out if you get a chance. Outlaw Films. Sea monkeys, items still made, different tank themes. Ooh. Yeah, you're welcome, man. Absolutely. Thanks for checking in. Yeah, I love that. And I get off on that. I really do. That's the best feeling because it kind of validates everything you're doing. It's important. It's such an important component. We all work so hard on sourcing these things, and we hem and haw over the details, and we discuss things, and we do our research and all that. At the end of the day, you got to ship just as carefully and diligently as you did all these other processes, right? Make sure that these things are, especially little delicate pieces of paper, they're very fragile. They rip if you look at them the wrong way. They could, God forbid, they get water damage. You have to make sure you're protecting paper from water. As a record guy, I go nuts when I buy records and people send, eBay has record size box mailers, but you could get them anywhere, generic ones. They're perfect. They're 13 by 13 by 1, and they fold over. And record footprint of an LP. And so many people I buy records from, I guess they just don't know what they're doing. They just send the record and one of those mails. It's paper on paper. You know, you could destroy these album covers. They don't put anything to cover the paper. And if, in the mailing process, depending on where you're mailing it from, you're going to encounter weather typically, whether it's on the truck or on the airplane or whatever. And when the mailman brings it out of their truck to your door could get wet. So please, people, when you're mailing paper, protect it with a piece of plastic or something that waterproofs it. That's also, I don't know if I have a link to that, but that's something. If you check out the Outlaw Films, or anybody's interested, if you check out my shipping video, I talk about that. I have these nice plastic, just like everybody uses for the postcards. It's similar for my print ads. I have a nice big clear plastic bag that I put all the paperwork in. That has a tab with a sticky on it, keeps it watertight, and then I put it in my mailers and never had a complaint. Not only have I never had a complaint, I'm often praised for it. And you're right, Eric. It's a really good feeling, I don't want these things being ruined. You put so much work into it, and the underlying purchaser who loves this stuff and collects this stuff, they want their stupid piece of paper, and they want it to arrive in one piece. Pre-internet days, the instructions and how to clean, or did you get your food? If you list the ad and then it gets a slight tear on the edge, you mean when you're in the process of shipping it, Enzo? I haven't really had that happen either, but I mean, if it did, it would really, it depends, like we keep saying for everything. It depends on how bad the tear is. If it's not obvious, if it's not like compromising if the tear is, up here, which actually this one looks like it might have, not a tear, it looks like a bend. You see that little border? I would trim that sucker right off a little bit, trim off 1/8 of an inch from that. If the tear was in the body of the vehicle, it'd be a lot tougher sell. I would probably just be, I err on that side of caution, and I'm honest with people, I would say, hey man, I'm so sorry I went to ship your ad. It looks like a little piece, and then describe where the rip is, and maybe even be proactive and send them a picture of said rip. I'm so apologize profusely, and then say, are you still interested in having this? Most of the time they're going to say yes, unless it's destroyed because they're collectors, and then maybe offer them some kind of discount, and I'll send it to you for free. My apologies, something like that. Just work with people. Things happen. I haven't had, and hopefully you haven't just put the kibosh on me, but I haven't had that happen where I took out something and I ripped it by accident that sold. Dawn is awesome. Well, Dawn is omnipresent. That was her original. Before she became the Queen of Canada, I'm a stepdad. Yeah, pretty much. Where did we? I don't know. Probably met on Auction Professor, I think. I get no returns, Barry. None. For ephemera. And I have no returns. When was the last time? Look at my thing. I don't get returns. I've never had return on any. There's one exception, which we've talked about 100 times, but a few months ago, a lady bought a print ad. I don't remember what the ad was anymore. She loved it. She sent a message. Thank you so much. I love the ad. And then she put, but my husband doesn't, and he told me to return it. So she returns, I think it was a beer ad, something stupid, That was the only return I've ever had on a print ad or any ephemera. I've never had a postcard returned. I don't sell things typically that would be returned, I dabble in clothing here and there, and it's usually like so many people. I started doing clothing. I say nothing against people that sell clothing. You can make a fortune selling clothing, but one of the, everything has an upside and downside in life. The big downside in clothing is there's so many returns in clothing, so the clothing that I've sold, I've been lucky enough not to have any returns. I just think if you're accurate in your description and your measurements when it comes to clothing and things like that, you're never going to be, foolproof from that. From if people want to return things or they want to borrow, you hear about that all the time. People borrow, in the summertime, or spring when they're going to go to a prom or a wedding, they buy a dress and then return it, like you would do if you went to, a department store. But anyway, no, I really don't get any returns. I probably had one in 2 or 3 years, and it was that one. Good night, Jeff. No problem. There you go. Go scan. Great to have you, Jeff. Have a great weekend. Use plastic bag and bubbles. Absolutely, man. Exactly. You gotta, first of all, you need to put your album in a case. I mean, you could buy them so cheaply. I have tons of them because I sell albums all the time. And I also use them to protect my LPs now. I have different size ones. I have ones for 78s because I sell 78s. I have one for LPs. I have one for 45s. But yeah, you got to protect it. And then the bubble wrap just with the extra padding. Absolutely. but most importantly to me, about paper and water, like paper and electricity, like water and electricity, do not mix. It drives me. And being the guy I am, I'm a nice guy in general, and being an eBay guy, if I buy something on eBay, unless it's totally trashed, I don't leave negative feedback for people, but I will absolutely send a hey man message. Hey, thanks. I bought this album. Listen, as a fellow, I said something like, as a fellow seller for a long time, whatever, please be careful and make sure to somehow protect these album covers from potential damage from water. Because all it takes is a few drops. It screws up the whole thing. It's just a stupid piece of cardboard, Then they forget about it. If the album itself gets wet, it could get mildew, it's destroyed. Yeah, I mean, 2 sheets of bubble wrap, All right, congratulations. Which one worked, Vaughn? Did you just reinstall it, or did you pull a Dawn and clear your cache? In either instance, I'm very happy that it's working for you. It's a beautiful sound, isn't it? Kidding. I think someone else told me about the channel a year and a half ago. Oh, really? Okay. We might have also talked on Dominic's channel. I think you were always in there. Make you feel good when you get feedback. I agree, man. Totally. Jim with another t-shirt commentary. Exactly. Pack things with care on how you'd like to receive it. If you loved, for whatever reason, Westinghouse mustard yellow stove ads, and you've been searching for years, and boy, I just bought this great one from Florida Man Jim. I can't wait to get this thing. My lips are watering. I can't wait to get this ad. And you got it, and it was, scuffed up and like bent and, half sideways and soaking wet. You'd be mad, right? So I agree totally. Do unto others, as somebody once said. Same philosophy. Pack like you'd like to receive it. I think it's, I'm assuming that most of us here in the room that sell, and I'm sure we all do, we understand that, but I think it's a point worth revisiting or discussing briefly, is how important that end. You do all that work, like I said, ahead of it. You get the thing listed, which we all have to do, and it's drudgery for some of us to list. You do all this work. You make the sale. You get the cha-ching sound like Vaughn gets. You're all pumped up. Ship the thing properly. Take the time. Think about what you're shipping, what it is, what are the potential pitfalls of shipping these specific things. People that ship valuable pieces of like artwork, or people that ship, pottery and porcelain and things and glass items. My God, they have to be super, super careful. 78 records. Another thing that if you sneeze, they'll break. You have to be maniacally careful when you ship these things. And you're right, Jim. Think about if you're the buyer. You want your stuff all messed up? No, don't be cheap. Take a few minutes and pack this thing with love and care. Seriously. I always do. And it is a great feeling when you get that feedback that says something like, shipped with care, or thank you so much for shipping this with care and so carefully. I love that. See, for me, a $5 album gets shipped like a $500 album. Well, maybe not that much, but you know what I mean? I don't distinguish between it, really. The album shipping, a regular LP, it's such a simple thing to ship, and it's so simple to do it the right way. Plastic LP cover, go online and pick up. You get 100 of them for like $20, maybe less. Just do the right thing. If you're selling these things, if you're selling these things with some frequency. It was just a sample. They give you a sample cha-ching? Well, at least you know it works. It works. Good. That's all that matters, right? I'm trying to catch up, folks. I'm a little bit behind. I'm sorry. Dawn, you give refund on damaged ones. You had people mad at thinking of receiving an advertisement. Yeah, that's one of the things that Dawn and I have experienced. She's experienced it way more than me. People that, a Camaro might be a little extreme of an example, but I was going to try to show you something. You're selling an ad for, here we go. I don't even know what this is, but here it is. It's a General Electric coffee pot, I guess, electric coffee pot. Pretty cool, right? So let's say you put this up and you say 1966 General Electric coffee pot vintage print ad. I won't use vintage anymore. Print ad, $15.99. Cha-ching, somebody buys it. You ship off your, with love and care, like I just described, you ship off your little ad. Your buyer gets your ad. You see that it's delivered, and you get an irate message from your buyer. This is outlandish. I thought I was getting a coffee maker. You looked in a category that says advertising, collectibles advertising. The title is print ad. The description is print ad. The weight is 7 ounces. Dawn's had that happen, but people literally get mad. They think they're getting the coffee maker for $15 from 1966. So never underestimate the stupidity of mankind. Expect the unexpected. Think like a buyer and think like an idiot. Baby people, walk them through, handhold, but be sweet. Be sweet about it. Don't call them an idiot. Just think it out loud and scream at them virtually. Don't take it out on them in a message, though. Print advertise. I know. And it's in an advertising category. So like, why is somebody looking for, and we talked about this too. The only thing I will say is eBay should not even present that as if somebody's searching for a GE coffee maker from 1966, my ad really shouldn't come up, but it's keying off of certain words. So if those words are in my title, I guess it's going to pull it in. But you would think people would be bright enough to realize, right? When it says, like Dawn says, advertisement. I mean, I go into detail, as you've all seen in my descriptions, 14 by 11 inch piece of paper, weighs 7 ounces, all this kind of stuff shipped. But again, never underestimate the stupidity of mankind. The mail's good for magazines. Oh yeah, they are good for other things. Absolutely, man. What have I mailed? Yeah, magazines go really well in there. Calendars. I sold a bunch of Star Trek calendars recently that I had. They fit perfectly in their calendars. Yeah, they're not just for albums. And they could get pretty, what's the ultimate deep? I think like 3 or 4 inches. Theoretically, you could get them if you bend it at the top. You can get like a 3 or 4 inch. I've mailed like 10 albums in one mailer, believe it or not. You can do that because they expand pretty dramatically. Scratch records and bubble wrap to protect them when shipped. Yep. That's a good idea too. A lot of people do that too. I've seen that. Yeah. You order an album and you get like a, Johnny Mathis, cover with no record in it just to protect it. That's a good idea. If you have extras, sure. Yeah. You have to care. Thought they were getting the toy. Yep. I had that. What was mine doing? I forgot. I think I only had it twice. One of them I was really, and eBay laughed at them too. They didn't leave a negative or anything, but I called eBay on that first one because I was just dumbfounded. I couldn't believe somebody thought, I can't remember what it was. It was like an appliance or something. I think it wasn't an appliance, like a toaster or something from 1925, and they thought they were getting a toaster instead of a black and white ad. 3 more listings and you have to get the kids to bed. All right, let's go. Yeah, I think it was probably on Dom's show. Used pizza boxes. That's interesting. For those who eat pizza. You found an Epson 400 a couple weeks ago and ordered a quad. Oh, man. He wears what? He wears it well? It's true, Dawn, because remember. There you go. So poop a lot. All right, let me catch up. Humidity. Your favorite was someone got soup match and get a 45-year-old dog biscuits. You should have found some decrepit dog biscuits and mailed it to her. You happy now? You roll ads on plastic wrap and tuck into a mailing tube. That's interesting. Cool. Yeah. As long as I don't mind the fact that it's rolled. You ever had a complaint about that methodology of shipping? People will message me asking about an ad that tips me off that they're thinking about an actual thing. Yeah, that's a very, very good idea to message them. You could be really paranoid, something Dawn would never be. But every time anybody buys any ad, you send a message immediately. Thanks so much for your purchase. Just a friendly reminder. This is a, 10 by 11, whatever the dimensions are, advertisement. I do that with certain things. If there's a stated flaw, not with ads, but like a product, like let's just use the helmet that I have. There's no flaws in it, but let's just say I'm selling an NFL helmet and it has a scratch on the top right or whatever. I will absolutely indicate that in my description, right? I think it's good business to do that. And if it does wind up being sold, thank you so much for your purchase, especially when it's a $100, $200 item, not so much on a $5 album. Say something like, just to reiterate, I just want to make sure you're aware, as stated in the description, this helmet does have, a 2-inch scratch in the top right corner or whatever it is. Make sure they acknowledge that. I think it's a really good idea before you ship it out, before you get an ad or some idiot. Just reiterate something like that, especially a higher dollar items. That's a good thing to get into the practice of doing. Try to, that's so funny. I was just going to say it covers you. Right. And if, a month down the line when they decide to be jerks about it and send you something, if it push comes to shove and you presented an eBay court and you're going to state your case, You can say, you know, it's in the description, it's in this, blah, blah, blah. And I also sent a message the day they bought it to reinforce the fact, as discussed, as you can see, please remember it has a scratch. You still want it, right? So it is about protecting yourself, unfortunately. But again, just basic stuff, right? Good customer service. I hate the term customer service. It's so blanketed, but you know, do the right thing with people, treat them with respect, whether they deserve it or not. And just be smart about your business, about the things you're putting up. Take pride in your shipping. I think it's such an important element of the whole thing. You could do a bang up job in every single, you know, aspect, every step of the way with your listing, and the final one could do you in. Yeah. You have an image in all your listings. It says, read this. This item is a paper advertisement. Do you really, Eric? Hold on. Excuse me. I keep hearing dings, but it's not my wife. Okay. I just want to make sure it wasn't my wife writing me. Okay. Band stuff. I thought we had another show. Yeah, tubes. Good stuff. I've only had the one incident. I think maybe there was two in the years I've been doing it, where somebody foolishly thought, you know, they were getting an actual product. Rattle the substantial something around a touch. Typewritten. Are you guys all drinking tonight? Are you guys drinking? Tell me the truth. I won't hold it against you. I wish I was with you. Plus, it adds to the photo count, and eBay seems to like when they've added more. Yeah, if you look at any of the quality listing report, I'm like ranked pretty well and all with the print ads, but every suggestion, of course, is 6 pictures. You know, the top 5% all have 6 pictures, and it's just foolish. You know, I would never take 6 scans of the same. You can break it up if you wanted, but they're still all the time with the one image. It's a high quality scan. You've used old covers. I've received records in that state with, you know, protected by old covers. R. So how's he doing? Does he even do shows anymore? Used to watch him every morning. Oh, Dawn, you silly girl. You don't do that for every sale. Only one complaint when an end cap fell off. Well, sure. There you go. Live and learn. Yeah, assuming. The other thing is, you know, the question only, do you get a lot of returns? You know, there's no scams or anything in this realm, really. Like, is somebody really going to spend the time to try to rip you off on a $15 piece of paper? You know, not typically. Not typically. So I like pros and cons with everything, as I said. They take years to sell. That's the problem. Otherwise, we'd all be millionaires. But pros and cons, you know, you could sell a really high valuable, you know, an iPhone in 10 seconds after you list it, but the return rate and the scam rate goes through the roof with something like that. Whereas a little, you know, very basic piece of paper, you know, a Westinghouse mustard yellow oven from 1962, picture of one, you know, not a lot of people out there trying to scam you over that kind of stuff. So pros and cons. I have never used an unused pizza. That seems awfully big for an album. I know, of course, you can cut it, but a little Hot Wheel you copy. This is a red car. Where's your Jiminy dust? I don't know. I got to refill the cart back there. I don't know if it's working. It's not working for me either tonight. Cool. Yeah, it's, again, such a basic thing, right? Communicate with people, try to be friendly and helpful. I'm not preaching to anyone, by the way. I'm just saying, like, things like that. The shipping thing is a really important element to me. And it is wonderful when you get the feedback so often, or I do, that, you know, thanks so much for shipping it so carefully and stuff. It lends me to think that most people that they buy from maybe don't take that same level of care or detail. And if so, I'm sorry to hear. Yeah, we gotta all blow. Everybody blow it Dawn's way. People have said they received eBay purchases and used pizza picks. That's historical. Yes. Substantial Alba around every day. Non-drinking natural buzz. There you go. Yeah, exactly. You bought the eggnog, but nothing to put in it yet. You got to fix that. Southern Comfort. Anybody who's ever drank in their life has the drink, right? Or the one booze that, gives them a chill, or they have bad memories with and they've sworn off for life. Mine would be Southern Comfort. Many, 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 many moons ago, a young Jiminy Flippett was hanging out with his friends, known to, throw a couple back now and then, and wound up waking up face down on a beach with an empty bottle of Southern Comfort by his head. Don't remember how I got there. Don't remember. I remember drinking. Southern Comfort. I don't remember finishing the whole bottle, but apparently I did. Woke up alone on a beach, face down, when I was like 21 years old. And the smell to this day, and I used to love Southern Comfort. It has like, for those who don't know, it has almost like an orange flavor. But that is my kryptonite, Southern Comfort. It's been 35 years, but I bet you if I smelled it again, my stomach would turn. You'd remember instantly. So I've sworn off no more Southern Comfort for me. Stay away. Only one could play selling postcards. Buy it and see the crease. Oh, yeah. And again, this comes back to, I have the ES400 here, the duplex scanner for the postcards, and it's all telling. I mean, the DPI is like 400, 350, 400, whatever I have it on for postcards. And man, you see, it's very hard to find really old postcards that are in perfect shape without any kind of bend or anything. So I don't remember exactly what I have, but I have some sort of verbiage in my description, like a general statement that says, may have a crease or may have this, consistent with a 100-year-old postcard or something like that. Try to cover yourself, as we say, and I find it hard to believe that they can't see the crease, especially if you're scanning them. But it's very, very, very few and far between that you'll get a complaint about ephemera in general. Do you feel diversifying ads to sales consistency, meaning different types of ads to diversify? I do believe that, Enzo, and that's the Fonz, by the way, and they're very cool. Yeah, I like to switch it up, absolutely. Hence the whole going to the 60s suddenly now after spending a month or so during World War II. Yeah, I think it's a good thing. And even beyond ads, like mixing up ads, postcards, a football helmet, a couple of blouses for Mrs. Flippett. Every once in a while I do like to just list something different. I don't know if it literally makes a difference from the perspective of eBay and for traffic coming to your store or not, but I don't think it can hurt to mix things up. That's my 2 cents. But yeah, if we just stay in the realm of print ads, yeah, I like to mix it up once in a while. I usually get on rolls though, because I'll find a stack of magazines from a certain period of time, and I'd like to plow through them and list them, especially World War II, because that's just my favorite period in general, and they just seem to be the most popular. Personally, that's, I think, the most popular era of collectability right now. Might change over time, because as time goes by and people start dying, and as we all do, things again. This whole notion of it's one of the reasons I got away from using the term vintage. You realize now that it's supposedly 20 years is vintage. So 2003 or 2, I would never put, if I had a sneaker ad from 2002, I would not think of that as a vintage item. You know what I mean? It might just be a perception thing, but if you're only 15 years old, you think that's ancient, right? So it's all perspective. So World War II, with that said, like I said, the collector base might start dwindling a little bit. That's a big thing with the postcard sellers and collectors and everything. Everybody's afraid of that's and stamp collecting is another one that seems to be a dying breed and becoming less and less popular as years go by. And as the older folks drop off, who's going to be there to pick up that slack? Is there still going to be, this huge group of collectors of postcards and other things? So I just personally love the hopefully some of you guys who have seen the listing shows last couple of months would agree with me with that the World War II, they're just so visually exciting. The topics are very interesting, unlike any other period of time, really. So that's why I'm drawn to them. Hopefully that'll continue to be, something that people desire a lot. Maybe something French like Snoopy Dog. You've yacked off. Yacked. I don't know. Tequila face down in the mud. There you go. Everybody, again, not condoning the behavior, but anybody who's, drank in the past, most of us have that whatever it is. A lot of people have it for vodka, whatever it is. It could be anything. Mine is Southern Comfort. Face first in the sand. Yeah, you were in the mud. I was in the sand. Not a good thing, man. I will never forget that. 2 times in my life. I guess that's considered a blackout, right? It happened that once. And then me and my boy Frank, around the same time, 21, 22. I was working, though, in Manhattan. We were hanging out wherever we were hanging out. I used to play in local like bar bands in Manhattan all the time. After work, we go on a Friday and play for hours. And I've talked about this, but it's the truth, especially back then. You didn't get paid that much money, but we were the house band at this place called Stone Street Cafe on Stone Street in Manhattan. And Friday nights we would go and we'd play right after work. But part of the pay, if you will, was free drinks. And they would just give you pitchers of beer on stage. I would just drink like you would have a water. And when you're 20, you could do anything, right? 21. So like where I was now, drink a water if I'm singing and I would drink beer. So beer became water to me. So what do? You go to the next level. And I started doing, liquor and shots and drinks and Jack Daniels I love Jack Daniels. I haven't had Jack Daniels in a long time, but I used to drink Jack Daniels all the time. Jack and Coke, JD and Coke, we used to call it. But I drank a lot, because it was sort of the environment I was in. And then when I actually went to go get drunk or whatever, my tolerance was ridiculous because I was drinking jugs of beer every Friday night and having no effect, just sweating it out because you're playing and singing. So, the second time my boy Frank and I, after a show, whatever we were drinking, we went to some other bar and actually drank. And I wound up in New York. There's a subway system. The both of us wound up, when the trains are done for the night, there's they call it a yard. All the subway cars go to a yard for the night. They're like parked. They're not on the main line track. We both woke up in the Bronx, not where you want to be. I don't know, 3, 4 in the morning, woke up petrified, all alone on a subway car, both of us, the back. I don't remember how we got out of there. It's so weird. I remember waking up being terrified, like, oh my God. And so, in such pain and so hungover. And just, I don't remember how we got home, but we were, I was in the Bronx where I shouldn't be anyway. And certainly not at 4 in the morning alone in a train yard. I remember hearing dogs bark. They used to have like tons of German Shepherds and stuff, like guard dogs guarding. And it was all like barbed wire fence and everything. I don't remember. I got to ask my friend, how did we get out of that situation? I don't remember. But anyway, that was the 2 times. Face down in the sand in my case, and waking up in a train yard in the Bronx. Tone for acoustics? No, I have not. Magnetically sticks to the back of the guitar's effects. Oh, really? Get out. Effect sounds comes out of the sound hole. Really? No, I have not. I'll have to check it out. Maker's Mark, can't drink it anymore. Yep, everybody, most people are going to have that. You could all state your drink that you will never do again. Absolutely, Stephen. Yeah, same with me. I'm very upfront. If there's a defect to be had, I state it. And again, I think it's a good idea if anybody wants to borrow this from me. If your defected item does sell, message immediately. Thanks so much for your purchase. Just want to make sure you're aware the following condition exists as stated in my description. It has a scratch, whatever the defect is. Just want to make sure you still want this item or something like that. That really is a powerful statement. Tequila for you, okay? Tequila Mockingbird. That is cool. I hope someone was nice enough to hold your hair. Oh. Nothing says love than holding your loved one as they puke their guts out. I don't know what Huddle House is. Enzo, that's why the 80s is hot now and 90s young people think right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. This it's going to keep moving forward, obviously, as time goes on, right? What people are going to consider old or vintage or good old days or whatever you want to say, right? Keith says, a really bad night with bourbon is the reason you don't drink anymore. There you go. And then, exactly, then there's that story that it doesn't have to necessarily be one drink, but I swore off drinking forever because fill in the blank. Can't drink down to medication. That's a sin. My wife is allergic to wine. Wine has histamine, antihistamine has histamine in it, and she gets very, very congested. She can't drink wine anymore. She used to love a glass of wine once in a while. Your lady here that you hackle with the antique show is going back to a regular job. She works in the film industry as a prop manager, an intimacy coordinator. Very interesting. Again, something I just must live in another planet. I've never heard of that term, but it's pretty funny. Envisioning what that might be or entail. No drink over 3 years. Sorry to hear. No, I'm not kidding. $239, that's nothing. I need to scale down on my keyboard. I have a big old Yamaha keyboard. It's a full 88 keys. Huge, huge mother. And because we're going to be doing all this traveling in my van, like down to Tennessee, to Nashville and all that, and out to Pittsburgh, that thing, it's like a 6-foot bag and everything. If anybody has any suggestions on a good, like maybe a Korg, like a smaller, like maybe 66 keys, 61 key keyboard, I'm all ears. I need to scale down on my keyboard thing because we really don't use it that often for that many songs. I don't need a full concert piano like I've been using for years. Blacked out. Scary, scary. What's up, Blue Feather Mercantile? You almost missed it. You've been tied up with Vistaprint the last couple of hours making business cards. Well, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Friday. We were going to do a listing show, but we wound up just chatting. I've never used Vistaprint. Is it a pain in the neck? You're a Vistaprint greenhorn. You once sold an old road map to a prop manager for a movie, The Founder. That's very cool. Exactly. You guys know what Long Island iced teas are? They were like all in vogue too. And it's all booze with a splash of Coke for color. And it's like those things will catch up on you. Any drink like that where they taste good, most booze tastes like rocket fuel to try to dissuade you from constantly drinking it, right? That's why you put it in with other things. But when you just drink straight booze and it actually tastes good, oof. And the first time you get up from the bar, you get it from the table. Oh, man, I haven't been trashed in a long time. I used to live trashed. I sound like a drunk. I'm not a drunk, but I used to like it. Back then, like it was just a thing with being in the bands. Like we don't drink at all on the road with the Beatles stuff at all. I couldn't even imagine doing it anymore. But when you're 20, you're invincible, right? You have to play back the show. You were unloading your Jeep from a huge estate sale. Very good. Yeah, no problem, man. No problem, Papa. Check it out. We've been kind of just chewing the fat for a while here, but it's been a lot of fun. It's already 9 o'clock. I'm going to have to sign out shortly, folks. It's getting late, Thank you all for coming in and hanging out for me tonight. It was nice to just chat instead of working. But with that said, I need to get back to work because I got to get to my 100 listings. So I'm going to list some more postcards. And then what I'll do is this tremendous triple pager, we'll have this on Monday. And I'll scan all these other double pages and we'll go through this magazine. It's October of 66 Life magazine. So and there's a lot of car ads and they're all going to be 67 model year 67 cars. Look at this one. Mai Tai. Anybody ever have a Mai Tai? I had a Mai Tai in Honolulu. It's like the drink in Hawaii. I never saw an actual cocktail called Mai Tai. It's a nice looking ad there. So we'll go through all those things on Monday's show. You've been listening while driving home. Cool. Just got here, I have to say. Jim. Oh, okay, you had a drink. I'm glad you brought one to the table. Jim Beam. That's the second call for a Jim Beam. Ruining our lives. Southern Comfort. I used to love. We should just do like Southern Comfort shots, or Southern Comfort and Coke or whatever. Everything was with and Coke. And man, I loved it. I don't know how I wound up polishing off a bottle. I've drank, again, I'm not proud of it. This was years ago, but Jack Daniels, I used to drink a lot of Jack Daniels. Jack and Coke, JD and Coke. That became an on-stage drink too for a period. Yeah, thank you very much. Great to have you. You guys have been great tonight. It was a lot of fun, kind of just kicking back, chewing the fat. We did talk some business, didn't we? We had to get a little levity with the drinking stories and all that. It's good stuff. Yeah, exactly. Just, bunch of regular people trying to do the right thing. You know what I mean? Trying to sell some stuff. And. Oh, 7-7, sure. I was like, and. All right, guys. Thanks so much. Have a wonderful weekend, and we will be back on Monday night. We'll go through this magazine on Monday. I promise. We'll get them. I got like 12 ads or something scanned, but I'll get them all scanned. There's a lot of them. So be warned. All right, put your thinking caps on. Have a wonderful weekend. Sell a lot of stuff, and when you sell it, ship it properly. Okay. Good night. Bye-bye.